All right, everybody, welcome to the last day of Sanaa Music Workshop. We're super excited. I mean, it's kind of bittersweet. We had a great time over the last 2 weeks, but today is going to be extremely exciting. But before we get into today's class, I do want to take a moment to thank all of the organizations and people that support us and helped us make this camp 100% free. We gave every student at least one private lesson with an extremely talented teaching artist, and several of the students also opted in and got free software. So I think got a bunch of software that's going to help them develop later in their careers. So here we go. So New Orleans Jazz and Heritage Foundation, along with the Emerging Philanthropists of New Orleans, 4.0 schools in partnership with Vela, all gave very generous grants to support us and these students, along with the Borenstein family, the Anderson family, and the Carrera family. So we thank them very much. We're going to send them a lot of thank you, handwritten thank you letters. So without further ado, we do want to get right into our writing and arranging class with the one and only Willerm Delisfort. You got it, Will.
All right. Hopefully you all had a good day, past couple of days. So I went ahead and filled in some ideas on this already, so we're not spending too much time. Because there's a good portion of this that I would like to talk about. Which is when we're done with the chart, cleaning it up. Because that's the part that takes a lot more time. And can make or break a chart. You can write some good stuff and have your chart looking bad, and then it's like, well, you know, I messed up on this note, Darren. Yeah, well, I can tell. So, um, so there's this line right here that I got on the trombone. That's from the recording. Is really what the piano player is playing. I played for you. Share the sound as well. Could you make me a co-host, Darren, real quick? These planes are out here. Okay, thank you. Let me know if you can hear this. So that trombone line is from the classic. I mean, it's Stevie Wonder. I mean, all of his songs are basically like well arranged, and the hardest thing to do when you cover the Stevie Wonder tune is not make it worse because it's like perfect. So no pressure, basically. So I added that line with the trombone, so we can at least have that line in there. You can see here. We still have the line that we came up with up here. We need to figure out what we want to do with our alto part. If we want to just keep it blank, we want to double that line. We want to do whatever harmony. The options are endless, and I went ahead and cleaned up what we had before up here. Instead of having just the half notes, just whole notes, tying it by 2-bar phrases. So tying it with the 2-bar phrases will give the horn players, and for all my horn players, this is really more for you to give you time and space to breathe, so you're not holding this for about 8 beats. Sorry, 12 beats. Um, 16 beats. Oof, math is all off. So you're not holding it for 4 measures at quarter note equals 80. You know, and rhythm section players, it's just something that we want to know because we don't, we breathe while we play, but breathing is not a thing that we worried about. So when we're writing, we want to consider that for the horns, give them space to breathe, time to breathe, and not trying to have them figure out, okay, I got like an eighth note to breathe. That's just not cool. Um, I switched the alto and tenor line when we had the voicings. Um, simply because of the range. Remember with the PDF that I gave you about the instruments and their range. So whenever we're dealing with the trombone in this certain register, trombone in this register, too many. And this register sings out more than having them hold that C. So the alto was playing this line. I had it swapped with alto was playing this line, the trombone was playing this line. If we swap them, the voice of the trombone, the instrument itself, sings way more in that register than it does having it play a C that's right here. The in its instrument and its key, the saxophone would sing less if it had this line here. So basically, who could get this moving line? F, E, E flat, E, and would sing it more would be the trombone. So I swapped them. And that's just simply coming from just studying this chart that you all have in the folder. So again, if you haven't looked at it or read through it, please do, just to simply learn about some of the instruments, their range. Like you see right here with the clarinet in its registers. The Chalomute registers, full and dark. You get a dull tone within the throat tones. The clarino, the clear and bright. Anything above there is piercing. It's good. These are good things to know about each instrument. And every writer should know what register sings more than the other. All right. So and I added the chords, but you might not make it that far just to clean up. I wish I had like a month with you all. We can be in there. So that being said, I had one question that I wrote: style and groove. What is the also clarinet is the best instrument. I've heard some people say that. By some people I mean one. Great instrument though. Great instrument. Uh, what is wrong? Okay. So my question for everyone is groove, style of groove that you're thinking of. Any recommendation, anything that you're hearing, even if it doesn't work. Let's think of it. Are we familiar with the tune? That should be a yes, because if we're writing it, we should have been listening to it, correct? It's kind of like a trick question. Bow, got you. Oops. So that being said, what style of groove will we go with? That you want to try, you want to explore? Jordan, what are you thinking?
I was thinking like bossa nova, because when I'm listening to this trombone, it's on a lot of upbeats and it has this juxtaposition that you typically hear in a bossa nova type song.
So something more like you hearing? Yeah. All right. So that being stated, we need to make sure that we have at least, the very least, 4 bars of that groove written out. Now, why do we need to have that groove written out? Can anyone tell me why?
So the band can know.
Yeah, so your rhythm section can know. They can know at least the vibe that you're going for. Me being a piano player, and I'm the pianist for my band, but A lot of times I write out the charts so that other bands can play them. I get extra detailed on my part because, hey, I play piano. Um, so I try to have the rhythm section part to the point where we can just pass it on to the next. And if you don't want to sit there and write, a whole entire song with a bass line, you can just write an example of what you want, simile, and then some changes if you want to do it that way, so that they know, okay, well, the first 4 bars of me reading this chart, I see boom binking boom tick binking boom binking boom binking. By then I already know what you want, or your bassist should know what you want. Hopefully your bassist should know what you want. If not, they can take that 2 line and they can just transpose it and just move that groove in any key that they want. All right, so you're making it really easy for them, and they can have all the information they need. And also, the quicker they learn it, the quicker they're off the chart, which is this really the best sound you're going to get once we get off the chart, meaning that we memorize it and we're not really worried about looking at measure 1, measure 5, boom. Having a proper chart makes it easier to memorize as well. A well-written chart, a clean chart. So, all right, so let's get that groove. Mhm. All right. So now I'm writing this as generic as possible. One of the reasons for that is, well, I don't play bass, and to write all the human isms that um Rodney Whitaker would play, or anyone else, it would just be too much. Um, so something as clean that they can read one time. Any bassist will read this line. All right, they can read that line and be like, okay, I know what you want. And from that moment on, from this moment on, they looking at everything. Um, show you. Okay. You learn some of these shortcuts. It makes life easier. So once they read this one time, and mind you, it's a slow tempo, I can go ahead and make these 2 bars, and they'll be cool. Like, they'll have all the information that they need. All right. You could do it that way, or you can just do all 4, so that they have at least a full page or a full stem staff with that part, and then everything else from that moment on will be in that vein. All right. Um, our piano and bass doesn't sync up. That's if you want to do that or not. A lot of times when I'm writing on my music software, there's a way of making it look good, and there's also a way of making it sound good. Does that make sense to anyone? Okay. Um, where the chart looks presentable, but as far as listening to it, it sounds dry and corny as hell. Yeah? All right? Because in order for me to make it sound really, really good like a live band is playing, I got to add all the extra nuance and blah, 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 blah. That's up to you. That's up to your discretion. But to me, I find that I lose a lot extra time trying to make it sound like a live band, rather than making it sound presentable that the live band could play it. So, in this situation, we can do something like this, right? And then hide this whole entire staff. But we'll do that at the post. So we have our bass line. Mr. Douglas, Darian.
Yes, sir.
So, what would be a proper bossa nova drum fill, or a drum fill that can go with this? Are there any other drummers in here?
No, I think it's just me.
Okay.
I mean, I think in this case, you don't even got to write the groove out. You could just say bossa nova, and you can just write that just in words, and then cats will be like, oh, okay, I know what that is. And then, when they get to the gig, depending on the bass line that the bass player actually plays, you can figure out if it's a bossa nova that they want. But this tempo is right for a tune. Go to cat. That's kind of the vibe,
Yeah. Everyone hear that? Make sense to you all? Solid. All right.
I have a question.
Yes.
So, is it okay that let's say for the first two bars, right, I would notate the drum part, and then I would say maybe for the rest of the at least section, I would have no rhythmic notation. So
yeah,
and I like to put the word simile on top. Is that normal?
That's completely normal. Everyone in New York knows I call that a Bob Beckerman line. Meaning Darren is my regular drummer, and for him I write bossa nova, and he sees the chart and he knows, okay, I know what Will wants, right? I know what Brandon wants. I'm not even going to have to go through it because Darren is your regular drummer, right? So now Darren cannot do all the gigs. These are facts and realities of life. He might have another gig with Marquise or whoever. So he's like, man, Cameron, I need you to fill in for me. Cameron says, I don't play drums, but I can read the drum part. Boom, the Bob Beckerman will be there for your worst case scenario. I don't really know what to play. Play this line right here and then simile. So it makes sense? So it's so we can definitely do that. And then copy and paste and then just make it slash and simile. So that's also a vibe. Also change this. And we put bossa nova. We just, to be more specific. The one things you would hate to do is put Latin. For a rhythm section, because they're gonna be like, what kind of Latin? There's so many Latin. Such a broad thing. Okay. So Darren, sing that rhythm for us one more time. See if we can get that in there.
So if it's 1, 2, 3, 4, boom, cat. That's and that just repeats. That's the snare drum rhythm.
Bass and snare.
And then you can just put eighth notes for the hi-hat, and then for the this isn't necessarily right, but this will do. If you on the bass drum, you just go boom, 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 boom. You know what I mean? Boom, 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 got, boom, got, boom, boom. You know what I mean? Over and over, boom, 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 boom. That'll do. That's the American bossa nova.
So yeah, the full sheets of rest. Yeah, yeah. I've done that gig, and I was like, nah, buddy, why don't you go ahead and do something better? All right. Boom, 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 boom. Right.
Yeah, that's it. And then,
Hold on, buddy.
that's the. This is on every middle school big band chart. Like it's it's easy to find this rhythm.
Hey, you know, that's one of the big things of like anyone that's in a jazz ensemble for high school. By the time you graduate high school, you should have read all the jazz cliches and charts. You know, um, and if you're a rhythm section player and you made it to college playing in jazz ensembles, you know the right way of writing and the wrong way of writing because all the charts are usually horribly written because they're not written by rhythm section players. Boom. Mm.
So the snare drum is just 1, 2, and 3, and 4, and 1, 2, and 3, 4, 1, 2,
Oh
3,
yeah, I was
and
trying to
4,
get my rest
1,
together. I
and
was like,
3,
I'm
4.
missing
Yeah,
some.
yeah, yeah. I know. I was just reminding. I know you know it. I don't know why I'm trying to.
Oh
For the other
no, no.
cats.
Yeah, Finale's just doing something weird. Cat, cat.
Yeah, so you would just put another snare drum hit on beat 1 in that second measure, and then that's it. Boom. Okay. And the second hit would go on the and the 2 in the second measure. So 1, 2, 3, and 4. 1, 2, and 3, 4. And then so the and the 2 and 4 in the second measure, and that's it.
Cat, cat, cat.
Cat 4 is the last hit.
This is rest here, right?
Yeah. So 1, 2, and 3, and 4, and 1, 2, and 3, 4.
All right. Drum solo for a second. All right. So Brandon, we would do something like this. You were saying maybe we do 4 measures of it just to get the whole. Because once you extract all the charts, you'll have the line. So having a full line of it, a full stem of it, will be easier to read, and then everything below that you will have what you were saying.
And I kind of have another question too that kind of
Yes, go
goes
ahead.
along with it. So, for fills, do you usually kind of write it out? Like, let's say, if it's still in like rhythmic notation, you would put the word fill above, or kind of,
Yeah,
or if it's kind of like implied, like during the performance or something, then is that would
yeah.
that be necessary or?
Well, yeah. I mean, if there's a certain area you want them to fill, then I would definitely put that. I probably wouldn't write out the fill. Um, that's like me telling you exactly what to solo. Um, but yeah, you can go check and go get fill. Um, and I'll show you. I'll show you what I mean. All right. Then I put it here. I let the drummer know here, and then I do another expression. Um, fill or drum fill. You could put the fill for on all the parts if you want, so that they know. But I mean, it's really, you know. Then you put fill here, or if you want it above beat 2 and 4, something like that. Fill, cat, boom. They know that they have a two beat drum fill here. If I place it here, if I place it here, you got 1. If I place it here, you got 3, and so on and so on. Um, all right. I messed up on this hi hat there, and cat.
Man, you can just put quarter notes, man. I mean,
No, it's just finale not playing it. I was like, I don't hear it. I don't hear 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. Okay. It's odd. Okay, I'm not dealing with that now. So yeah, instead of doing 4, it just instead of giving me all beats, it gave me like the quarter notes, and I don't know what it's doing. Ah, there it is. Yeah, yeah. Okay. Sorry, that was just gonna bother me until it changed. Yeah, we're not worried about that. All right. So, one last thing that I want to fill out is this alto part. What are we doing with the alto? Are we keeping the alto? Are they not playing, or they're playing in line? What are we thinking? Mind you, you're paying this dude, so if you want them to sit there for rest and don't do anything, that's on you. They're gonna make that money though. What do you think of Dominic?
Wait, what was the question again?
This alto line. What are we doing with this alto line? Are we keeping it blank, or are we
Harmonize it with the trumpet line.
okay?
And
I can dig that. So let's take a listen to it. Where would you like to harmonize it?
Actually, you could do unison on short notes, like, and harmony on longer notes, like half notes and dilated quarter notes.
Harmonize the half notes in one more time. I'm sorry.
You could harmonize the half notes and the dilated quarter notes, and then make the shorter notes all unison.
So we harmonizing here. And here. All right. One thing I want to change, since we've established we're doing like a Latin thing. Let's change this rhythm a little bit. Keep the notes. Yeah, okay. And that's going to bother me until I see it right. There we go. So now I'm changing this rhythm a little bit, making it a little bit more syncopated because if we listen to what our bass is playing, bing, bing, gong, bing, 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 gong, bing, 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 boom, boom. Naturally, when it's time to make this look presentable, we're going to really just do this with the piano. We're going to give it just some changes and then let them know bossa nova as well, so that the pianist is not playing chord. You understand? So that being said, it's going to be more of a syncopated thing. Boom, bing, boom, bing. So boom, boom, bing, ging, get going, going, bing, get on, ging, good dang, ging, boom, boom, bing, bing. I don't think I need these staccato marking. Maybe for the first one. All right. All right. So how about what if we harmonize when we get here, Dominic? So piki boom boom bing ging dick gong harmony that away. What do you think about that?
Yeah, I like that.
All right, and that way this will give this line a stronger sound, like a bigger sound. Get boom boom bing ging gong harmony that down. I don't think this G natural is going to work. What are we thinking, the G natural or G flat? This is the G natural with the alto line? Or G flat?
What do y'all think? G natural or G flat?
Flat.
I say natural.
Natural? Okay. Any objections? We're going with it? Okay. All right. I'm sorry, you said natural, right? I ain't even changed it. I'm sorry. All right. Better get to see his face. Breathe. Yeah. Okay. So now, just with this introduction alone, and I'll put this file in the PDF in the folder as well. So now let's quickly just go over like what one of the hardest things with after you're done writing, making this look presentable. Cool. All right. So I'm going to extract these parts real quick. And some of the things that I look to do whenever I'm cleaning up the parts. All right, so we're not going to worry about all the other parts. Just get rid of this. So, always like to group them in the amount of like the bars and phrases that we're reading. So like reading a book going from left to right. I want this to be 4 bars each. Well, this drum part is going to be super easy. So, Brandon, so this is an example of what we were talking about. All right. You have the line, and then after that, we have simile and the fills. Now, what I would do in addition to this to make it easier for the drummer, because you don't want to give them just like, 70-something measures of this. That's just hard on the eyes. Like, it also looks fuzzy when you see a whole bunch of lines. I would go ahead and make sure that that drummer has the changes as well. Would you agree, Darian?
Yeah, absolutely, man, because it makes it easier to follow along in the form, Like if somebody else plays the changes wrong and you're like, "Oh," or sometimes like you people get mixed up and then they go to a different part. It's like, "Okay, we're all going to go here." And at least you can see, "Oh, okay, they're at the bridge." That's a G minor. Okay, I can hear that. Bam. Especially if you don't know the song, it's easier.
And and why be stingy? Share all the full information for them. I've had a lot of drummers seriously like, "Will, man, where the changes at? I need to know what the changes are," because they're following it. They're listening to the tune. So, I would also do something like this. All right. And with these changes in general, not to have them too high. All right. Finale naturally, or the software naturally would like to keep them like this high. Who wants to read that high? Can you see how annoying it would be for you to look up and look down, look up and look down? So you keep them at least an eye level. Then you start moving all the other things out of the way. Drum fill, simile. And a lot of times, if I phrase the music properly, meaning that I have them shaped in the right bars, I'll probably won't do measure numbers. because I have rehearsal numbers, like rehearsal letters. All right. Boom.
So
Bass.
so
Yes.
let's say you add like 8 more bars. So
Mm-hmm.
would it be a good idea to, let's say, if you have the same groove, you kind of just you have the notation out for the next 4, and you kind of just like repeat the whole thing just to remind the drummer like what the groove is at the particular section versus going all the way up to the top just to
Yeah.
see what the groove is. Okay.
So doing something like this. Sorry. Uh, I'm very picky with the way I put my phrases. Um, like this would bother me because it's 5 bars, you know, and the phrase is starting at the very end. So to me, that's a big no. So something like this, but the changes be different. It'd be do do oh, C minor, F minor, B flat 7. So something like this. So you will repeat. You let them know, okay, just in case you forgot, this is the groove. If the groove definitely changes, then I would definitely write in the new groove. You know, yeah, but you could do something like this, and then have your obviously have your rehearsal marking to let them know this is A. We're at a new section. So even if Darren is reading this, boom, he can see that, okay, these are 8-bar phrases. Okay, 8-bar phrases, and then we're at the new phrase. So he'll look up just to look at it to see, okay, I have the next 8-bar phrase and blah 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 blah. Then he can get right off the sheet and go right back into playing. The rhythm section is the group that you just don't want to be in the facing in the music the whole entire time, because you want them to be reacting and stuff like that. So let's do a horn part real quick. Just gonna get rid of meld. Okay. I want it to look even. Naturally, these softwares will make it where it's like this for some reason. Like you have that indent in the beginning. You don't want that. You want it to be all even. They can look from left to right, left to right. Like reading a book. And since the phrases are even, I'm gonna make it 4 bars each. All right. Sometimes when you have parts like this, syncopated parts, your software can make it where you can space it. You can space that measure by the amount of notes or by beats. If it's like a lump, boom, 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 it's a whole bunch of notes. I will try to space it where you can see each of the fill. I want you to see each of the downbeat. You can see the downbeat, right? So downbeat 1, I'm sorry, beat 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, and so on and so on. Rhythm section players, if you're writing, you want the horn players to be able to see the downbeats. Give them the best opportunity to play it as close to perfect. Anything outside of that, you're not doing your band justice and you setting them up for failure. Although they should be able to, like, yes, in the perfect world, we should be able to like to read it perfectly and blah blah blah. But that's just, we're not living in the perfect world, and people have bad days or weird days, and you just need to give them. So now this is a good example of like having a lot on your page. See how the trumpet was different space, but the trombone has this going on. This is hard on the eyes, right? And simply because it's just like a syncopated thing. So we have 2 options. We can keep it this way with the 4-bar phrases, or we can divide it in 2. What are we thinking? 2? This is how it would look if it was in 2. It's that much easier on the eyes.
Definitely.
So when you clean it up, again, you have to do this for every part. So when you're dealing with the orchestra, a big band, it's a little bit tedious. But so in this situation, I would do two bars rather than 4 because it's just simply easier. All right, and then when I get down here, I'm going back to my 4-bar phrases. But they see that. When you breaking up phrases like this, you just want to be mindful of see how you have this tie at the very end. The tie at the very end, that is nothing like too crazy. So it's like, okay, well, I know I'm just holding the note and it's the same thing going over and over. So this wouldn't be difficult. But when you're cutting the phrases, you want to make sure that when you go into page 2, that it's an easy page turn and it's not interfering with the phrase. So I always try to group them in different sections. So when you flip to page 2, we're on page 2, or we may never go back to page 1. Any questions? Sorry. One last thing there, and then we're done. Having this right here for the piano, right? Because the piano part that's the one that'll give you like 27 pages. And if you don't want to be printing out 27 pages, you can do something like this where we have this. You can make the top line, because we're dealing with the chord chart right now. We can make the top line harmonies / notes. All right, we have our bossa. We know that it's a bossa, although it's not here. Where are you, buddy? Where are you? Oh, there we go. So that we know that it's a bossa. Boom. Therefore, all I need is some / chords. Now, we still have these 2 grand staff, right? So what you do is you highlight the bottom. And this is on Finale. If Sibelius does this or MuseScore does this, try to find something that's similar. And what I would do is hide it and collapse it. So now, rather than having those like 8 bars with the full grand staff, if I had a whole chart on this, doing this probably would have cut the chart down in half. So if it was a 4-page chart, me doing this would have made it 2 pages. So one thing to keep in mind, yeah, Piano Plus, we're not trying to have a full grand staff and only the top staff has notes and the bottom staff doesn't have any notes, because you're giving us like 17 pages and we're not going to go and flip that all the pages and stuff. So if you find yourself printing out 27 pages for the drummer and then 2 pages for the horns, then something's wrong. And that's it. So if you have any questions, again, email is in the chat.
Yeah, we got a few more. You guys got any last? This is Will's. Well, I mean, this is the last day, so obviously this is Will's last class. But if you got any questions for Will about anything in life, now's the time to hit him with it. He just put his email in the chat, so make sure you guys link with him. And he's also on Instagram and
yeah.
so.
W Delisfort. You find me anywhere on W Delisfort. If you ever working on a new tune, or you got you're charting out something and you just want another ear or another eyes on it, please just hit me up, and I got you. So
Wow, free of charge. Oh, let's see who takes that up, huh?
yeah, we want these charts looking good, and also once you get paid for these charts.
Yeah,
I want you to get paid, and you can turn them in to get published and stuff like that. So
absolutely. Any questions, you guys?
Yeah, what will be the process of turning it in to get published, actually?
Once you the way I used to do it when I was in high school and stuff, I would reach out to the company and find like a representative, and let them know that I am a writer, and I have a few charts I would like make a sample chart, um, not even half the chart, or maybe just a quarter of the chart, and send them in with a recording. So once you get this, you got the charts written out, the parts looking good, record it as the way it is, exactly the way it is. I mean, the cats having them put their scoops and sauces on there. That's that. That makes the chart even better. But get a recording of it, a proper recording of it, and then you can like have a sample PDF chart, printed out chart, and a sample audio. Then after that, you can start fishing, going to different companies. Like, hey, I'm Brandon. I write. I do this. Check out. This is a sample of what I can do.
Yeah. Another way you could do it is if you can. Maybe you guys have already done this, but if you register yourself with BMI or ASCAP.
Yeah, that was my next follow-up question, because I have a writing and publishing account with ASCAP. So how do I publish my stuff under that?
Well, once you write your tune and you log in, you'll submit your stuff there, and then it'll be published like legally through that entity that you created for ASCAP and BMI. Greg, you got anything to add to that?
No, honestly, Will was making some great points about the readability. Those are like a lot of things that seem like kind of easy or simple or whatever, but those are some of the most important parts in making readable charts, especially like CAT's sight reading and stuff. If you have a 9-bar phrase on one measure, that like throws everything off,
Everything off, yeah.
And those are the little things that like are the difference between like good charts and great charts. And that stuff is all very important. But in terms of getting your stuff out there, I'm working with this website called Tomplay, and I found out how the guy who's contracting me got the gig, and he literally reached out to them, told them that if you guys want the stuff done right, hey, hit me up. And now he's like working for them for like 150 G's a year or something crazy.
Yeah.
And he just sent an email.
Yeah. And I want everyone to be sufficient in your writing and in your publishing and everything that you're doing, so that you can just write an amazing chart, pass it out to schools, have them play. These schools will play them, and I am very like hard on charts, because as a rhythm section player, I'm telling you, man, there's not many rhythm section writers for the high school, middle school, elementary level. So when I was in high school and we got a chart, I would either take the score to study the score, or I'll just find a recording and listening to it and memorizing it. All my students that are in rhythm section, if I'm leading a big band, all my rhythm section players have to learn all the music by heart. They're not even reading. They're not allowed to, because there's inaccurate information on there. It's not written correctly. So that's been going on for too long. So I've literally made it my life goal to, like, whenever I meet a writer, hey, write these parts correctly, write the drum fill correctly. If it doesn't look right, go and ask a drummer, learn how to write it, make it look presentable. Because that's going to be the hardest thing, making it look clean. So
Beautiful. Thank you again, Will. I want to give these guys a few minutes break before Genghis gets in here. You're welcome to stay,
yeah,
man, if you want to hang.
Oh, these kids just walked in, so it's,
okay. All right.
They came in like, we here. I was like, I hear you.
All right. Okay. Hey, okay, guys. Let's just take a 5-minute break. Shake out our weeds, and then we'll be right back with Genghis his production class in like 5 minutes from now. Cool.
All right,
Will. Thank you, man. You guys make sure you hit Will up.
Thank you.
Yes,
Will.
please do. See you.
Thank you, Will.
I'm so glad